Hey there PMP subscribers, the name's Antar1011 and today I am bringing you a Gen 4 Little Cup battle presented in glorious 3D and HD thanks to the wonder that is PBR. God, I miss PBR. Anyway, my opponent today is Onion Gravy 64, and while this was the last in a series of Gen 4 Little Cup battles I've had, didn't have any Gen 4 Little Cup battles after this. This was actually my opponent's first Little Cup battle period. He'd never done Little Cup before, but that being said, he did a really, really good job, and this is the closest battle I have had with anyone bar one person in Gen 4 Little Cup, or actually kind of in general. So I'm going to lead off with my Onyx here, and even though that I know he's going to outspeed me and hit me with a super effective move, I'm actually going to stay in and set up my rocks, because Stealth Rocks are super duper important in Little Cup, and I don't see him as having a spinner. So anyway, yeah, I survive with my Focus Sash. Not really very surprising. I go for the Stealth Rocks, and so now I'm going to want to pull back my Shai-Hulud, my Onyx, for Death Fodder later. Basically, I mean, it's got 1 HP, what else am I going to do? So I basically get the free switch into my Chinchou, named Angler, because it looks like an anglerfish, what do you want? Get hit by an Ice Beam. It does absolutely nothing because this is, not only do I resist it, I am a specially defensive Chinchou running the bulky set, and I've just got nothing to fear. I'm predicting the switch out into Phanpy, which is why I go for the Surf. So my opponent calls back his Gunfish and sends out Eevee. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's not the end of the world. You know, Surf still does 95 base power, so I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit his Eevee with a Surf. And I just am really not fearing anything from this cute little guy. It does a fair amount of damage. He activates his Toxic Orb, and I have to go back to my references, like, what's the deal with the Toxic Orb? And then I see, oh, well, he's running Facade, yeah. It's not like he gets Quick Feet or, Guts, but Facade's power does get doubled, and I foolishly leave my Chinchou in to die. So, it is what it is. This battle is going pretty well so far. I have no complaints, even though he's gotten the first KO of the battle. So I'm going to go ahead and send out my Ghastly, because I really don't think I have anything to fear from him. Plus my Ghastly is going to be faster. I don't even have to go for a Sucker Punch or anything. So I go for a Sludge Bomb, just for the maximum amount of damage. I hit, he goes down, and now the battle is tied up again at 5-5. Bye-bye, Eevee. Yeah, so, I mean, my Ghastly really has nothing to fear. It's the standard Life Orb set. I do carry the Substitute, so my opponent's going to go ahead and send out Remoraid. And I'm obviously going to want to pull back because, I mean, I could go for the Sucker Punch, but it's really not going to do anything. So I consider who to send out, and I'm just really not sure because it depends on what move he locks himself into. So basically, if he locks himself into Water Spout, then my Dratini is a safe switch, and if he locks himself into Ice Beam, I definitely don't want to do that. I can probably send out my Cyndaquil to do a super effective Hidden Power Grass. So Onyx going in for Death Fodder just to see what he was going to lock himself into. Turns out it was Water Spout, and he is basically a full HP, so I don't really want to mess around with that. I'm going to go ahead and send out my Dratini because it resists the hit. I know I can survive. I can get off a nice solid Dragon Dance, and I will be fine. Yeah, so going to go for the Dragon Dance, expecting him to switch, and I'm just curious what he's going to switch into to take my Dragon-type moves. So he goes ahead and switches out Drifloon. And, you know, Drifloon in Gen 5 is really formidable thanks to Unburden plus Acrobatics. But in Gen 4, I'm just not very impressed with it. It's cute and all, and it's really cute, no lie. But it's really outclassed by Ghastly in my opinion. So I've gotten off, I'm at +1, I'm going to outspeed, I'm going to just go for the Outrage, fearing him to go for a Will-O-Wisp or something, and at +1, I think I can sweep through his whole team at this point. He doesn't have any steals to resist my Outrage. And yet Phanpy might be able to do some damage with an Ice Shard, but I'm really just not fearing too much at this point. So Drifloon goes down, and out comes Pineco, and I'm thinking, okay, well, Pinecos are fairly bulky, but again, this isn't Gen 5, it's not carrying an Eviolite, so Outrage should be able to KO thanks to the fact that I'm at +1. And indeed, I take it out. So bye-bye, Pineco. Really had nothing to fear there. And I am cutting a huge, huge hole through his team. Unfortunately, I only get 2 turns of Outrage, and that's extremely frustrating, but it is what it is. My opponent's going to send out Phanpy here, and I could go for another Outrage. I believe Outrage is the better choice. No, I guess Waterfall has a chance of flinch, so otherwise they have pretty much the same power after you consider super effectiveness and stab. But anyway, I do this switch into my Mankey, thinking, I just want to switch out of there. I don't want to get confused. And so I'm going to go for the Ice Punch, thinking that I'll probably outspeed. But of course he does carry the Ice Shard, and he is going to KO my Mankey. This is not a Scarf Mankey, although it runs a Scarf set. It actually is a Focus Sash Mankey designed to trick your opponent into thinking it's Scarfed. But whatever, I'm taken down with an Ice Shard, and that's sad, but at least I get a free switch into Sean, my Ghastly. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball here, just expecting it to KO, and knowing that he can't hit me with an Earthquake, and it doesn't KO actually, and I'm really surprised by that. He recovers a bit of health with Oran Berry, and I'm like, oh crap, now he's going to KO me with one of his super powerful physical moves. He goes for the Rock Slide, and I'm like, oh well, that's it for Ghastly, but Ghastly survives. I mean, that's kind of impressive. Ice Shard is going to hit, it's going to do a fair amount of damage, but I believe I survive at 3, which means that I have, 2 more attacks that I can use before I faint. So, Shadow Ball is going to take him out, 2 more attacks after this one. So Phanpy is down, and I'm going to be down to 2 HP. And, Ghastly has been doing work this battle, so I'm not upset or anything. So out goes his Kaboomlep, his Voltorb, who is going to outspeed me, one of the few Pokemon that does outspeed Ghastly, and without a Scarf, that is. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Sucker Punch. No point in switching out at this point. Going to go for the Sucker Punch just to rack up a little bit of damage. Going to hit, and it does a decent amount, but I don't think I have much attack investment. I'm down to 1 HP, and so when the Thunderbolt hits, obviously it's going to KO. So I just didn't want to, screw around with switching out, predicting his moves, and so Ghastly is down, and now I have a choice of who to send out next. It's going to be Cyndaquil, because Cyndaquil is going to outspeed, assuming this guy isn't running some kind of crazy Scarf set. He's got 2 Pokemon left. The other is Remoraid. I'm going to go ahead and predict him to predict my Eruption and go into Remoraid. So I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Grasp, but he doesn't switch, which is so frustrating because he's actually going to survive the hit with just a little bit of HP, but he survives the hit, and I'm going to go ahead and take that Thunderbolt not well at all. In fact, it's going to KO my Cyndaquil. My Cyndaquil is now down for the count, and I am not in a good situation because now I am down to my last Pokemon, which is Dratini. And so here I'm in an awkward situation. Now I don't think his Voltorb has anything that can one-hit KO except for maybe Earthquake. Not Earthquake, excuse me, Explosion. But I don't want to risk him going for the Explosion and just finishing off the battle because he can at this point, so I should go for the Extreme Speed. But if he switches, well actually if he switches Extreme Speed, it's still a good move. But if he doesn't switch, and he's going to outspeed me with Remoraid, so I basically make a call, go for the Extreme Speed, fearing the Explosion. He told me later he didn't have the Explosion. Oh, here's the only bit of hacks in the game. He gets the Static Paralyze. And that's extremely frustrating, but then I get the Shed Skin, Cure the Paralysis, so Hacks balances out Hacks, and now we're in a crazy situation where I am just hoping and praying that Extreme Speed will KO. Actually, I do the calcs, and I tell him about this. I'm like, my calcs say that I cannot take you out in one hit, so this is good game. You're going to hit me with an Ice Beam, and that's going to be that. He goes ahead and hits me with an Ice Beam, and I'm saying, good game, Onion Gravy, and I survive with 1. And I'm like, holy crap, how did I survive with 1? I do the calcs like, even min damage you should have KO'd. Later on, I look up his set. He's running a mix set. He's running a mixed Remoraid set. And because he's diverted some special attack EVs to attack, I survive. And I'm able to KO with another Extreme Speed and win the battle on 11 HP, but 1 really because of that Oran Berry. So that was an excellent game, Onion Gravy 64. PMP folks, I really hope you enjoyed this battle. Comment, like, subscribe, send me lots of comments, check out my channel. So long.